Alright, so this video right here is an upload. I had to re-upload it because YouTube demonetized my channel because I was using bots. Now I don't mind if you use bots, but you also have to include your commentary. So yeah, check out the video, check out the story, and I'll give you my commentary afterwards.
Tensions along the border ran high in the final years of the Mexican Revolution. Violence spilled across from northern Mexico into the Texas frontier, where recent Anglo settlers clashed with Mexican Americans who had lived there for generations. The complex dynamics between newcomers and longtime residents often led to retaliatory attacks, then everything came to a head. On the morning of January 28, 1918, a band of Texas Rangers, U.S. Cavalry soldiers, and a group of local ranchers entered the small farming community of Porvenir, a town in Presidio County with a population of roughly 140. They forced several residents from their homes before leading 15 unarmed men and boys to a nearby hill where they were executed. The massacre went unreported for weeks, and didn't come to light until Captain J.M. Fox, of the Texas Rangers, told command that they'd been ambushed by locals suspected of having ties to a raid at a nearby ranch a month earlier. He characterized them as thieves, informers, spies, and murderers. For nearly a century, Fox's account was widely accepted as fact. But in recent years, researchers and descendants of the massacre began unraveling the truth of what transpired that day. What happened in Porvenir was far from the first act of violence the Texas Rangers perpetrated against Mexican Americans, but by the time of this attack, the community was desperate for justice. Crucially, the documentary dives into archaeological evidence uncovered in 2015 by Sul Ross State University archaeologist David Keller that proved that every bullet fired during the attack was government-issued, a fact that essentially absolved the people of Porvenir of what had allegedly provoked the attack. Another critical piece of evidence is the reenacted account of Harry Warren, an Anglo schoolmaster in Porvenir whose father-in-law was killed in the massacre. Enraged by the senseless act of violence, Warren sought justice by writing detailed notes about those who were murdered, complete with testimony from the surviving members of their families. Years later, Warren's account served as confirmation of what transpired that day. One Porvenir descendant, Arlinda Valencia, lost her great-grandfather Longino Flores in the attack. Her great-uncle, Juan Flores, just 12 years old at the time, was the sole eyewitness. At a family funeral, she said family members whispered about Longino having been murdered at the hands of the Texas Rangers, but it seemed too outlandish to be true. When she began looking into it as she got older, she found her great-grandfather's name on the list of those killed, as well as her great-grandmother's account as told to Warren. But she also uncovered information that blamed her ancestors for the attack. Ultimately, the Rangers were found guilty of gross violations of civil and criminal laws, including the killing of up to 5,000 people, largely of Mexican descent, between 1914 and 1919. Led by Canales, the investigation helped pave the way for stricter recruitment guidelines that transformed the Rangers into the elite organization it later came to be known as. Yet none of the Rangers implicated in the Porvenir massacre were ever found guilty of murder.
Yeah, man. It's a real sad story. 15 murdered. After the Mexican Revolution, Mexico was in bad shape. You know, all of Mexico and Southwest Texas, California, it was bad times. Now, these Mexicans that they're referring to, who were living in that village or in that town, they had been living there since before, since when Texas was part of Mexico. You know, so they weren't illegal or anything. You know, they weren't breaking the law. But yeah, the Rangers claim they got ambushed. Big ass lie. Yeah, you know what? That's happened so many times. It's a long list of times where American government officials have lied. Long list, man. You know, I think the Vietnam War started with a big lie. The Tonka incident, I think they call it. Yeah, even the American-Mexican War, the fight for Texas, that was a lie too. It's a lot of stuff like that, man. But you know, now the crazy part is that the Rangers were found guilty, but none of them were found guilty of murder. It'd be kind of cool if they could have some kind of reenactment, you know? Take them all to trial, even though everyone's dead. Just have a trial anyway. And find them guilty of murder, even though they're dead. Fuck it. That's just my opinion. Alright, y'all. That's it for this video. Stay safe out there. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thanks for watching. Check out one of my audiobooks, ebooks, paperbacks, or just donate to an app to support this channel. Link down below.